Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to move to our second panel discussion for today. This panel is termed the CIO's Roundtable, Chief Information Officers Roundtable. In other words, Airline Chief Information Officers Roundtable. And they're going to be discussing strategies to enhance and innovate end-to-end travel experience in Africa. Strategies for end-to-end travel experience in Africa. To moderate this session is my senior brother, who I'm always learning from all the time, Mr. Ibra Wan. If he's there, you should come over. Business Development Manager, APG. I wish to invite the panelists to join him. First, Ms. Francine Mukeshimana. Okay. Yeah, please. Thank you. I'll let him do the rest of the introduction. I might not bring out all the credentials.
I don't know how to. Thank you very much, Rafa. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleague and panelists, it's a great honor for me to moderate this high-level session, bringing together visionary leaders of our industry. I thank you for your presence, and I am convinced we will offer rich, concrete perspective. This strategic panel is entitled CIO's Roundtable, Strategies to Enhance and Innovate End-to-End Travel Experience in Africa. We gather here at a critical moment. Africa is on the move. Its travel and aviation industry is undergoing a transformation driven by a connected youth, a growing middle class, and increasingly demanding customers. The theme of our roundtable is fully in line with the current challenges and opportunities of the travel industry in Africa. In a post-COVID world, accelerated by digitalization, travel expectations are changing, and our ecosystem must keep up with this phase. Today, the travel experience is no longer limited to a flight ticket. It begins well before the journey with the information search, with the booking, digital interaction, and continues long after the return. This end-to-end journey has become a strategic pillar for customer loyalty, revenue growth, and shaping the continent's image. Yet we face many challenges: fragmented systems, unequal connectivity, data management, regulatory complexities, payment diversity, cultural expectation, and pressing need for sustainability. This panel is an opportunity to hear from forward-thinking CIOs and business leaders who are actively shaping the next phase of travel in Africa. The key question is now how to rethink, reinvent, and optimize the travel experience end-to-end on our continent. I invite all of us to engage in a practical and open dialogue, one that will serve a solution grounded in innovation, collaboration, and long-term transformation. To address these topics, I am very pleased to welcome leading speakers who each embody in their own way the future of smart and integrated mobility in Africa. Francine Mukeshimana, Strategy and Performance Director, AfriJet Fly Gabon. I will call Getane Desta Wold Michael, Director Commercial, RENAC. Jonathan Newman, Vice President, Business Development, Acelia. Mr. Kwad von Conhe, I do hope that I am not scratching your name, Chief Commercial Officer, Rwanda. And Lampros Brianas, Director, Sub-Saharan African Airline, Amadeus IT Group. We will proceed interactively with a series of questions organized by major themes: digitization, customer experience, financial inclusion, sustainability, governance, and technological innovation. I invite you to share cases, lessons, learn from the field, and especially actionable recommendations. I will also take some questions from the public along the way where they're permitted. So without further ado, let's go to the heart of the matter with our first question. If you allow me to come to join my fellow panelists. Thank you very much for your availability and for your commitment. Okay, the first question will be addressed to all of you. Depending on who is going to take the chair. Maybe Francine first, other lady, you know. How can we better connect the travel ecosystem through a shared digital platform? Maybe this is for the CIOs, sure, but I mean, depending on your feeling about that question, I'm talking about the actors. The actors, we all know that they are airlines, hotels, ground transportations, and mobility providers and digital providers. All these stakeholders, in fact, all these actors are involved. How can we share a platform that can connect the action of all these people? Francie.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here, for your attention to all the interesting discussions that we've been having since this morning. So I will try to answer your question, Mr. Ibra, based on my experience and our experience at Fly Gabon. What we have noted is that in order to better interact with some of the other companies within the aviation industry at large, we do indeed need like a platform or an area where we can come together and exchange information. And this is one thing that seems to be still in the need to be constructed, like an integrated platform where all the data that's currently already collected on the airline side, data collected on the payment solution side, data collected within the hotel industry. Everybody's got their own data, but it's more or less kept separate. I think we need to now think of how are we going to bring this information and look at what are the main key items and interesting points that are standing out as a key development area for the airline industry as a whole. That's something we should really look into developing and talk a little bit more and exchange more information with these counterparts.
Thank you, Francine. Getane, do you think, a shared platform can be built, a shared platform? We are talking about a shared platform among all these actors.
Yeah, thank you, Ibra. Good afternoon, everyone. I think, first of all, I would like to really express my pleasure being here in Rwanda, seeing it after several years and seeing all the growth. So I congratulate the Rwandese for the excellent job you did, and for AFRAA putting together this convention. I think, Ibra, what we are talking about is a profound issue that we really need to address. But I have to first of all own up that I'm not a CIO, although I find myself on a panel of CIOs. But I've been working with industry systems on the implementation side from my early involvement with Ethiopian Airlines and later CETA. So I'm approaching it from that perspective. Yeah. First of all, in order to answer that question, we need to understand the modern traveler. What is a modern traveler? It's basically a digital native. So most of our passengers these days are highly connected people who use information and data. So we could exploit that and to be able to come up with a platform that can serve the purpose you are asking me for. We need to understand, first of all, what is the expectation of the digital traveler that we see today. I think IATA has done a very good job. Some studies have come in that area. And like you were mentioning at your introduction, it all starts with the exploration phase, the planning phase. Yeah. So today, travelers might go to information sites to obtain some sort of information on flight schedules and things like that. If we can enrich that, for instance, with weather information so that they pack their things appropriately, they would love to see information related to that, for instance. So the weather forecasters suddenly become part of this ecosystem we are talking about. They might want to know the customs regulations, the tax policies, what you can bring into a country, what not. So we need to think beyond the airline industry or the aviation industry. There are several players. When you get to an airport, I think a modern traveler would love to avoid the queue, the search or the security process. As I walk inside the terminal, you can do your job. You can search me while I'm walking. Today there are technologies that can detect whether I am wearing, armed, or have something that is not allowed. So I don't have to queue, practically, and we can go through those biometric channels and board the aircraft. That's the sort of thing our modern customer is asking for. And they want to get the map of the airport so that they are directed properly to the gates. So we are talking about now the airports becoming players in that space, the security agencies becoming players in that space. So the ecosystem is big. So the short answer is yes, it is highly desirable and we should move in that direction. But in order to do that, what is it that we require? First of all, we need to collaborate because a lot of data is needed, as panelist Francine mentioned already. Collaboration is important. But collaboration on its own is not enough. Data quality, standardization, and an orchestration platform, a platform where such information is aggregated and orchestrated is extremely important. I think at this point I should take the opportunity to commend AFRAA for the jobs they are doing regarding the distribution and payment platforms they have been working on. Yeah. They have been working on that. That's the sort of platform we are looking. I'm just mentioning it without detail, just the kind of things that we require going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Gitana. I would like to jump from the airlines to the providers. In fact, I should have begun maybe with the CITA and Asilia. Jonathan, what do you think about this?
I think it's a fantastic question. And I think that you've got to ask yourself then what a shared platform is then there to do. Because of course today there are many shared platforms that airlines already all over the world use. And those are OTAs, those are aggregators. And from my perspective and the perspective of Excelia, I think that rather than looking at a shared platform, instead begin to think about embracing modern data standards. A lot of the things that my colleague from Royal Eswatini Air has just been talking about is entirely possible today. It's entirely possible today by embracing modern data standards such as NDC. The example that, again, my colleague just gave about moving into the airport space, well, as part of the airline industry's revolution towards offer, order, settle, deliver, delivery at airport will become part of that digital ecosystem. And it's now that airlines are beginning to embrace this, again, for a number of reasons. Partly because of cost, because as I think it was the honourable CEO of Rwanda who said earlier today that it costs more money to run an airline in Africa. Well, distribution is part of that. And beginning with small use cases like that, starting to embrace those modern data standards will start to pave the way for a much better customer experience, again, which ultimately will be fulfilled through modern platforms.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's go to Lampros, just to have your view.
Yeah, thank you.
Is the first roundtable.
Thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm aligned with the comments from the fellow panelists, and I think that right now there is two elements into the discussion: the technology part, which is very important, but also something that was covered into details this morning about how governments as well facilitate the orchestration of this partnership approach that we want to have in the travel ecosystem. Because without that, it's not going to be possible. I will give just a couple of examples. First, on the technology part, definitely modern data, as Jonathan said, and open and technology, and investing into the cloud, and harnessing artificial intelligence for actually leveraging the power of data, because data they exist today. It's about extracting intelligence out of this billion of data points that we have, all of us together as a travel ecosystem. So, and also I would like to thank Maureen from AFRAA for applying artificial technology and artificial intelligence to my picture, because this is a picture 25 years ago, so I definitely don't look like that. But so that's the technology part, and it's very, very important. Now, on the orchestration part, and the governments put together frameworks that they are important to sustain and to support this change. And for example, at the airport, an airline is still depending on the airport facilities, is still depending on the governmental authorities and border control facilities to ensure a seamless travel experience for their customers. So the point is, at Amadeus, we are doing two things. On the technology side, we are actually, all our investment goes into the cloud and to the open and modular technology so that airlines can use the modules that they want to use, engage with their own actually R&D departments and development departments to prototype new solutions that they want to prototype. So we are investing a lot on that, and recently we launched the creation platform where these capabilities are shared between all the ecosystem, either be it a mobility transportation company, a hotel company, or an airline company. And on the other side, we are trying to work with governments as well. Maybe you have seen in the news our agreement with the Dubai tourism economy, where we are collaborating with the Dubai authorities to promote the destination as a stopover, help and foster the collaboration between different entities and different companies to roll out technologies and innovations, collaborating with different parts of the ecosystem. So all in all, and Rwanda, I think, with the vision that we saw this morning, goes towards that direction, investing in the airport, developing Rwanda as a tourist destination, and the technology is definitely a key foundation to its success.
No, thank you very much. Fuad, I have another question for you. I mean, we are generally in an environment where resources are constrained now, for all of us. How are you modernizing, the legacy, system without disrupting the operation in that environment, in that constraint?
Yes, see, Ibra, I'll jump on basically what Lampros was saying. See, I think that's a good continuation, of his answer. There's a lot of movement that has happened, that is still happening, and very deep changes, very deep-rooted movement with regards to the systems, regard to technology onboarding those systems. I'll use an example. 25 years ago, the airlines, through then the budding internet providers, onboarded PayPal, as a payment system. We were still asking ourselves at that time, whether it was safe. Now it's a very commonly used, as system, which has been overtaken by much more. 15 years back, airlines were developing online check-in, and again the question was asked about whether airports would be able to handle. People will turn up late, flights will be delayed, and so on. There has been multiple changes, and no more so, as Lampros mentioned, in the area of data scoping, better data analysis and analytics, and better systems. So in the day and age of AI, that transition from the legacy systems you mentioned to better technology-oriented system, I don't think that this is difficult. It could be done overnight. The only issue is there is a part of missing link. How do you link systems to better experiences, to better time and revenue factorizations? And this is, I think, the part that is missing. See, airlines will invest if it makes sense with regards to resource saving or revenue gauging. And at the moment, there's a little bit of a crack in the middle, if you want, where there's a bit of emptiness. See, right now, I'm sure you have seen, there's carriers who have invested in metaverse technology, presentations, products, and so on. And many onboarders, many technical onboarders, technology onboarders are doing virtual presentations of product with a VR mask, and so on. So that part is done. That part is there. It already exists. But the movement from the legacy systems, to a fully integrated one resource platform is missing. My humble point of view is because of there's no visible gain on resources by the carriers, and secondly, there's no visible view of a revenue culling. I will venture just a couple of points of view on that, and very quickly. And one of the reasons behind is very simply that there's still a big fragmentation between what Lampros and his team develops, what Axelia develops, what everybody else develops, the onboarders, on the side of the payment systems, multiples. Each bank have different ID systems or ID recognition systems, and those are not talking together. So probably one of the points would be, that the day when there would be maybe something like a GDS, a distribution system that links or affects the link between those payments, experience, media, multimedia, and revenue systems, yes, we'll have a go. But only then.
No, thank you. You are talking about fragmentation. So then I will come later on the payment system. But let's come now to the African environment. I mean, I would like to be more precise. Maybe I will ask this question to Getane. Do you think that makes sense to talk about cultural and linguistic diversity? How can, let's say, artificial intelligence help tailor, travel service, taking into account these specific diversity here when we talk about African? Let's talk.
Generally, AI is about manipulating vast data to come up with some recommendations, personalizations, and all that, as you know. So first of all, data quality matters in this case. If you want to bring the best you have as a continent, you are competing with everybody else. So those travel services, for instance, where tourism activities and things like that have to be highlighted, then the quality of information that exists out there for AI to bring it out and make those personalized recommendations has to be there. But AI also is about communication effectively.
Yeah.
As you know, we take it for granted now, but sometimes communicating is a very important element of travel services. You go into places and maybe you are not clearly understood, you don't understand the culture and enjoy it either. So that diversity can benefit from the natural language, for instance, developments that we see around that. We have heard stories about people quickly converting whatever, typing whatever they want to say and translating to the language the other person could understand. So AI is very, very helpful in terms of tailoring services for people who come to experience our cultures, our linguistic diversity. So in that sense, it is valuable. And of course, it's putting quality data out there, recent data. So it's about quality and recency, basically, in terms of the information you put out there. That will help you to exploit the capabilities that are brought about by AI.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay. Coming back to you, Jonathan and Lampros, both of you, what are you working with mobile? What mobile innovation for you? What mobile innovation can enrich the traveler journey from booking to return, the whole traveler journey?
Can I perhaps I'll defer the question around mobile and to my colleague Lampros. But if I can just go back to what my colleague here, Faud, was saying, but also tie it into what Getene was saying about AI as well, because I think that there's a really important link between what Faud was saying and Getene was saying. So firstly, there's a huge risk in airlines moving from legacy systems and legacy documents through to the modern world. There's a huge risk. And it's down to vendors and IT companies like Excelia and others to be able to smooth that path. Now, we do that in a couple of ways. Firstly, by showing to airlines such as Ryanair and Faud that there is huge cost efficiencies in doing so. And I mean huge. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars across the industry. In fact, billions of dollars have been saved in distribution fees alone by airlines moving to NDC, and just through our platforms. And when you think about the incremental revenues that airlines have been able to deliver, because they're on modern standards, because they are utilizing offer and order already, that they're able to start doing things like dynamic pricing, like enhanced ancillary selling. All of these provide those incremental revenues which begin to pay forward the cost of this transformation and immediately de-risks. Now, what does that have to do with AI, as Gethin was just talking about? Well, when you start to actually see and touch the values that are coming from AI that is now possible because you've got that well-structured data source, the order, at the heart of an airline's bookings, it's like magic. It really is like magic. Being able to query, being able to start to generate real insights and actions from your well-structured data, from your order, it really is a step forward. It's almost as if it's the stepping stone from, we all remember the BlackBerry. It's like from when people went from a BlackBerry, which was a very dependable device, to the iPhone that suddenly allowed you to do anything. And that's what the change of AI on top of well-structured data sources, starting with NDC, is all about. Now, sorry for hijacking that last question, right, but I thought it was really important to bring it together.
Yeah, it's okay. Lampros, you think the same? No.
Oh, you want me to answer the question, or you want to
the same question. I just wanted to hear you about the mobile.
Okay, mobile is just a device, right? And it's extremely relevant for Africa. I think on average, everybody here in the room has 2 minimum, maybe more mobile devices. So it's extremely relevant for the region, definitely. And but let's go a layer below. Yeah. The way that we at Amadeus have been developing technology, it's in an open and modular way where it's technology also device agnostic. So basically going from the existing standards that they have been there for many, many years and moving all these to the new standards of IATA or the modern offer and revolutionizing actually the way that the airline creates its offer and wants to retail the offer. It's important to make sure that the airlines can, and also any other provider of product, either it's a hotel that they want to reach to their guests by exposing the attributes of a room and not talk only about a single bed or double bed with a window, without a window. So we're talking about guest and attribute selling. So a device is a very important layer of communicating and reaching to the traveler, but it's not the only one. Yeah, and the technology behind and the transformation of this technology behind, as we move ahead, it's the key to unlocking new ways of interacting, of unbundling your product, of selling more of your ancillaries catalog, and so on and so forth. When it comes to AI, how that applies into this channel, definitely, I think that we need to focus on small use cases and starting small, experiencing with the AI modules, and it can apply to boosting revenue management. It can apply to actually looking at new routes and forecasting about what is the ideal new route for a specific airline. For example, think about if Rwandair had the intelligence of basically that the DRC airspace would be closed, they could actually plan and revenue manage differently and work around different schedules so that they can maintain an operation that is fluid. So all this together, it's about also the core of their line, not only one single device like the mobile.
Oh, okay. So thank you so much, guys. Let's jump to the payment inclusion now. We've been talking about the payment. You know, our ecosystem is this. We have to think global. It's international, but we have to act locally, definitely. So that's why we were talking about fragmentation. We are talking about diversity. We are talking about what is the environment. In fact, the influence of the environment, the local environment. How airlines? Now I'm talking to airlines. Do you think airlines can lead to a creation of interoperable and locally adapted solution for payment? Payment is very challenging for airlines now. Payment is the huge issue airlines are facing all around the continent. So now, can we imagine that airlines themselves, they lead to a creation of, I mean, with the IT providers, with everyone, you know, who can deal with that, they can lead to a creation of a locally adapted solution for payment. Are you willing to be involved in that in that issue or not, airlines? Or it is, we can say that it's not our job, we airlines, we just need to hire or to pay or to purchase from providers platforms of payment, solution of payment? Or do you think yourself of being actor and then tailoring with these stakeholders, all of them, tailoring together a solution for payment, locally adapted? Francine.
Thank you. So to answer your question, we as airlines have to be active. But at the same time, depending on the size of the airline, the type of action and intervention is different. You have bigger airlines that can drive a tendency, or speaking from my side, AFRAA, we are much smaller. We are more trying to focus on influencing areas where we can influence decisions that have already started being implemented. If I take, for example, the Paps solution, so this solution already exists, but it still needs to be rolled out. And one of the limitations that we see in the economic area where we are active in Central Africa is that none of the local banks have started integrating this into their processes. And we know that if we had this Paps developed, we would be able to collect payments much faster from people traveling intra-regionally, which is one of the solutions. And this solution is, of course, required in our region as well, because mobile money in Central Africa is not as strong as you know it in East Africa for different reasons, also linked to regulation, also linked to system development, and a lot of it also to the limitation in value. So the central bank, based on the information and decisions they have taken, have limited the value amount that can be handled via mobile money. So in Central Africa, we're having to rely to other modes of payment. Unfortunately, for now, it's still cash. But if we want to move out of cash, we're trying to influence, find a central bank within our region that will want to walk forward towards Paps, so then we can have something more integrated. So as a smaller airline, we are influencing, not so much leading, but we cannot stand on the sideline, of course not.
No, yeah, I see. Getane.
Yeah, Evra. I think this is an interesting topic because we definitely are interested in solutions, in payment solutions as airlines. Naturally, you know, the population size that is using banks, what people call financial inclusion in Africa is very, very small. So these people actually stay outside of the normal financial system. And finding solutions to that in the first place increases the market for us. So it's about creating additional demand. So are we interested in that? Absolutely. And as Francine was saying, are we interested in getting our money as quickly as possible, or do we wait until IATA transfers it to us every 2 weeks, a month previously? Now I think it's coming down to weekly in some cases. But do we need the money faster than that? Absolutely. We are in a business as airlines that demands a lot of cash. So we are highly, highly motivated to support such systems. Now, what is the degree of our influence? Because we know the challenge within the payment industry is it's highly regulated, as it should be. So our contribution in that area could be one of lobbying and advocacy with regulators to assist and fast-track the process of approving these different fast payment systems in various countries. That is one. The other role we play is the viability of systems like that is dependent on demand. I mean, is there demand out there? So the more we sign up, the more we allow in our form of payments, payment mechanisms outside the standard card or cash. And we say we also allow mobile money or any other fast payment system, we are giving them an incentive to push and justify and form their own regulators. I think Tanzania in this region is a good example where they have formed their own switching governance body because there is a lot involved in it legally. And therefore the regulators are very much focused on it, and we are interested also in that. It is, I mean, we want a regulated, healthy financial environment, but we want to assure them by including payment options beyond the traditional ones, and that is where we can help. Once that is done, of course, like the AFRAA project now on the payment systems, we go out and look for those capable organizations and bring them together so that they have access to several AFRAA member airlines. So that number I'm talking about, which justifies their business case, is created. And I think we should commend the AFRAA Secretariat and the Secretary General himself, who really looked into that from the very beginning and has been pushing. So I think the members who are here know how much work is involved in that. For the last 5-6 years at least, we have been working hard in getting that off the ground. It's not an easy job. And I think AFRAA deserves a round of applause, I think, just to wake you up. Thank you.
No, they are not sleeping at all. Fuad, as Getane was saying, beyond the traditional form of payment, as an airline, I mean, facing this payment issue, do you think, does it make sense to ask you as an airline to provide government or all other stakeholders with inputs leading to a creation of a new solution, something, we are in innovation, don't forget that.
Yes, Ibra, but certainly, and not only with input, with very active lobbying, as AFRAA is doing, and well, I guess there's a simple reason to that. The ecosystem and what allows for that support of enabling the ecosystem as well, you know, have got extremely important presences. And you got to follow the money, right? The African aviation industry is worth about, what, $70–80 billion a year, which is quite consequent as an amount. Give or take, you know, 2 or 3 billion, you know, stuck in various banking systems here or there. Let's say the industry allows for a more or less important amount of money. But the uptake of the African airlines themselves is marginal. You're talking of 15 or 20% of that revenue base that is onboarded. There's, what, 35, 40 registered African carriers. There's about 5,000 plus carriers registered under ICAO globally. So it also brings to the question, you know, that are the banks or financial institutions, are the money followers and the money makers interested in that ecosystem? Is it worth it? Is a fraction of $70 billion interesting enough for them? Are 35 to 40 carriers interesting enough for them? And this is where we have found, as African carriers, that the answer, unfortunately, is they won't admit it, but is no. Hence, then, the lesser attention given by our money suppliers or our money marketeers, I would say, to more sophisticated money products, as you would find in Europe or in the Northern Hemisphere, anywhere else. Of course, we have moved forward. We move forward here locally with e-wallets, Momo, with different other forms, M-Pesa in Kenya, etc. You know, with different forms of money inductions. But are they catering to the right level of business? And this is a debatable question mark, right? So for that part, I think I'll just end my answer on saying yes, active lobbying, but more so over a more definite presence of the public sector, of governments, you know, into ensuring that it's a chicken and egg situation, right? You know, the African aviation industry is lambasted with poor growth, you know, constantly criticized with being unable to change or very slow to change. But at the same time, those enablers, of which the most important one is how fast you get into your money, how easily you make your money, what kind of different verticals you onboard to make your money. Right now in Africa, we very heavy on cash, 70% of the intake, and I'm counting cash and card together. Then the newer payment methods, apart you know, from what you take on your online systems, are marginal, less than 5%. At some point, we need to think further. We need to think of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin. We need to think. There's carriers who already, I mean, we won't name them. They're operating not very far from us and have very strong presence in Africa, who already have on their online websites, do you prefer paying with cryptocurrency? And you can load your Bitcoins on that site, and here you go, you got a ticket. We are a very far way away from realizing those kind of leaps. So at least to start with, have enabling powers, you know, ensure that there is better money marketing systems for the airlines to be able to receive better quality money throughout, you know, the money scope.
In fact, that means that means are here, ideas are there. The problem, the constraint is the economic environment, the economic situation of the countries. And then
and you got to think about, and sorry to interrupt you, you see, the more sophisticated money, we got to think about that as well as Africans. If it can't be used in Africa, it's expatriating itself elsewhere. Yeah. This is where our money, under these new money formats, find themselves in banks in the Middle East, in Europe, in you know, in some other offshore centers, and those are massive amount of money that the total economic system of the continent could make use of for development to start with, but also for that trickling down effect of a multiplier into aviation, into road making, into tourism, into other poles, development poles, but that we are sorely missing.
Thank you. I'm told, Raphael told me that I have only 5 minutes left. I think that he is reducing my time. I don't know for what reason, but definitely I will have to ask you the last question. So then I'm myself reducing my questions. The last one is related to governance. You know, what public and private partnership are vital to standardize innovations such as e-visa and digital health system? I wanted to ask this question because this morning we talk a lot about visa, about governance, about, our countries to collaborate. The theme of our session here is collaboration too, innovation, but collaboration too. So then, I would like you to have your view, but quickly, very quickly, each of you, regarding, I will begin with Ketane, regarding, the public-private, association or collaboration in this regard. Please.
Thank you. That's also very topical, and the last workshop discussed some aspects of that. Really, a public-private partnership in that area has been there. It is the way we embraced it. I couldn't help but listen to the free movement of people being discussed the way it is discussed this morning. That is a political issue. As far as we are concerned, what we'd like to see is electronic visa, so governments still have control, but those who can prove they can travel, they have reason to travel and can afford the leisure trips they bought or have paid for it, should not be held back. That is what we are saying. So today there are electronic travel authorization systems, several vendors here who provide such services are available, and it has already proven itself. And people could move with electronic travel authorizations, and governments should not fear of those as a replacement of their visa revenue. They can still collect their visa. We'll be happy to pay the processing fee for the electronic travel authorization because we can still keep our passports with us. We don't have to go to an embassy. We don't have to drop our documents. And we don't have to really make a follow-up trip to collect the visa. Just saving us that headache and allowing us to do it electronically by itself is an improvement. And doing so is possible today. You can charge for that money, and that money will pay the public-private partnerships that enables it. South Africa handled the 2010 World Cup through that, and it is still there today. It's being used, and it can be used. I have no, idea why we think electronic visa is not the first step in our path. And of course, the AU representative, if he was here, I think we can approach it at continental level, if not governmental, so that it is available, and we can start with that. That's my take on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You want to say one word about that, Jonathan?
Well, I don't think as a Westerner, perhaps I'm qualified to talk about it. The one thing I will say is that talking about strategies to enhance and innovate end-to-end travel experience in Africa, I can't think of anything better for a public-private partnership. That is a much better use of airlines' investment in terms of time and resource than thinking about the individual technological decisions that the airlines should be making themselves and investments they should be making themselves in order to sell more and sell better. Because this ultimately will help drive further investments in infrastructure, because it will free up time and resource, and it will drive greater tourism numbers. So that's all I say.
Francine, we will have maybe the last word from here. No?
I think it's still about regulation. I think we have the ideas. We know where we think we can make the question evolve. But of course, because we are within a regulated environment, we need to get regulators to adhere and understand what are the blocking points, and then we will be able to move forward. I don't think ideas are what are missing here.
Can you hear me? Yes. Actually, there is a proverb in Africa, you learn to fly by flying, right? So we need to start flying, and you will learn through the process. And retailing is very important. Sell more, sell better is important. Being efficient on what we're doing. And when it comes to actually the collaboration with the governments and border authorities, the governance around how we share the data between airlines, that they know who is flying their planes, with the airports, that they know who's going to land in the airports, with the government and the border authorities who know who's going to go through custom control, and how you can do biometrics, for example, to reduce the queues, to be more efficient at the airport. All of that is very important, you know, for a better end-to-end traveler experience in Africa.
Thank you. If I may add, Ibra, I'll use the examples of my two colleagues, Aaron and George Motema and Aaron Monetsi, the CEO of the Board of Airlines and the CEO of AFRAA. And I think what is commendable with what they do is that in that very sensitive domain, as you mentioned, you know, public-private relationships, I think they hold truth to power. And this is what should be done. It should go beyond e-visas. It should go beyond simple systems. And e-visa is a simple system. When Europe integrated, 25 years ago, every year has seen a 5% to 6% growth on aviation numbers, travel and revenues. You know, they do request, and there could be, going back to the basics, very simple things as ensuring that the Cape Town, how you call, help me out, guys, the Cape Town Convention Center and everything that goes, the Jazz Festival, you know, the Mardi Gras, you know, is not the Argos Two Oceans race, etc., are not separate ventures operated by separate people. It's all integrated into a project, ensuring that the airlines land properly and safely, you know, with ATNS, making sure that the beacons and the VORs and the DMEs work properly, you know, is all part of that. I'll just end on just one thought. You know, we as Africans, you know, we look at what has been done and we say, well, that's a good thing to do, and we keep doing it, the same thing. Africa tourism is predicated mainly on safari tourism. And safari tourism is worth a good amount of money, $23 billion, about a couple of years back, just after COVID, expected to range around 35 plus in 32. So it's a good amount of money. But beach tourism is worth right now $250 billion globally. Is expected to range above $400 billion in 2032. And guess which is the continent with the best beach coastline in the world right away? Us. But how many kilometers do we use? Except for Zanzibar, Mombasa, and Cape Town, very poorly, and maybe North Africa, and that's it, very poorly. Thailand, with 3,000 kilometers of beach, for instance, optimize half of them. The Maldives, with 600 kilometers of beach, optimize all of them. I think in that public-private partnership view that we seek, we probably need to ask our you know, our powers that be, you know, to put the money where the mouth is, and you know, then create that momentum for tomorrow. So that's all I just wanted to add, you know, on that topic, and it goes beyond the visa issue, which should be the simplest part, actually.
Thank you so much. Do I have 1 minute to take one question from the audience, if any? Just one, if any. Our panelists were very, very clear. So, fine. So then this panel has shown that Africa is innovating, Africa is moving, you know, because ideas are very, very rich. Challenges persist, yes, but opportunities are very vast, and our shared ambition is clear to deliver and to provide to African traveler and to the world safe, secure, and personalized and sustainable experience, travel experience. And I would like to thank very much our dear panelists for your value insights. And I encourage all of you to carry this spirit of collaboration, of innovation, of belief in Africa forward to your daily business and mission. Thank you very much for your listening, and thank you very much for you.